Gerald Gajibay production, a Valentine Wood film, My Boats, Part 4, Vola. As I've already mentioned in the previous part, the gang of corrupted tax police officers acting in cahoots with corrupted judges of the Pretoria Court of Justice unjustly deprived me of my little sailor Maria III. If it happened earlier in the times of the USSR or later after Moscovian occupation, I wouldn't have the faintest chance to defend my rights. Although I didn't get back my unlawfully seized boat and had to fight in the courts during 8 years to get the indemnification, I won in the end. But long before it, I had already laid the keel of a new boat. The reason for it was not so much the old dream of mine, but a crucial necessity to support my children getting the university education. The new boat had to be the size of the previous one. On the one hand, the smaller boat wouldn't ensure enough comfort and security for the crew and passengers. On the other, I'd already got a very sad experience, proving that a pair of hands on deck of a big boat that sails close to the shore is not enough and could be even dangerous in tight conditions. I liked very much lightweight 30-footers of Dufour 31 and First 31E projects and decided to build something of a type. I set to elaborating the future boat's design, and less than in a month it was ready. After that I began making ribs out of steel angle, and in the middle of October 2001 I assembled them into a hull's frame. Here you can see it. In the spring 2002 the frame was planked with pine and covered with a layer of glass fiber reinforced epoxy resin. At that stage everything stopped. The further progress was impossible, for I ran out of money. I got a chance to resume the work only in 5 years. Till that time the elements took their severe toll on exposed to them hull. I had to replace up to 30% of planks. It took me quite a lot of time and effort to do it. However, I coped with it and went on with the work on the hull, mounting a deck, a cabin, a motor, making a fin, a rudder, furnishing and equipping the interior. To cut a long story short, the boat was launched in the port of Chernomorsk on the 8th of August 2008 and got the name Vola, that in Ukrainian means freedom. I crossed the bay and moored at the same buoy where 7 years ago Maria III was moored. To say that I was happy is to say too little to reflect my emotions at that moment. Despite the corrupt scoundrels who robbed me of my previous boat, despite injustice endured in the courts, despite all the hardship, I was back in the saddle. I took to party boating again, for I had to pay out loans taken to build the boat and support my youngest daughter's university education. Although successful enough to let me get rid of some of my debts, the season of 2008 was very short. The approaching of a new school year swept away the holidaymakers from the beaches. Willingly or not, I recalled that I was a teacher and had to teach kids too. So in the first days of September I sailed to Chernomorsk and pulled the boat out of the water. Every year the off-the-season period was used to improve the boat, to sew or fine-tune sails, to add necessary equipment. Crimean winters never last long. Snow covers the ground for a month or two at most. Then comes the blessed spring in all its beauty. Springtime is the time of preparing the boat to navigation. Officially, the holiday season starts in the middle of June. Practically, however, it begins at the end of the first summer month. You'd better be ready for it, because our season lasts not so long. The launching site was situated 17 kilometers from my home, so traveling there on a self-made trailer sometimes turned into a kind of adventure. The stopover you can see here was the result of an accidental puncture. Here you can see my launching team. It would be impossible to launch the boat without their help. The initial holiday season I worked alone. In subsequent years, however, my daughter or my nephew and my son were my crew. While party boating, the best of friends were the sea itself and the fresh winds of Yarmouth Bay. The pictures of Vola sailing you are looking at just now, courtesy elusive, the head of a company producing very reliable inflatable boats, mega IUs. Six summer seasons of hard work gave their fruits. I felt I could afford the long-cherished voyage in a year or two. Actually, I've never stopped daydreaming about it. Zhenya, the old friend of mine who lived in Chernomorsk, some 7 miles to the southwest along the shore, sometimes sailed in his boat to visit me. Time and again we talked over the voyage we both dreamed of, and our conversations lasted then late into the night. We make plans, weave hopes, and then Lady Fate changes them. At the end of 2013, President Viktor Yanukovych decided to change the course of Ukraine from European Union to Moscovian Empire. Moreover, he ordered to disperse students protesting against his intention, and his commanders completed the order in a very brutal way. As a result, the very next morning, up to 1 million people went into Kiev's streets demanding him to resign. After a 3-month resistance, after street fights where police killed up to 100 people, Yanukovych fled to Moscovia. Meanwhile, the Moscovian president Mr. Putin took an advantage of the turmoil and seized Crimea. Then he tried to spread the so-called Ruski Mir in the southern and eastern regions of Ukraine. As a result, my country is still under attacks. I am in Moscovian occupation, and my boat has been on the shore ever since. In the summer of 2014, after a month-long teasing the exaggerated pro-Moscovian feelings of some of my yesterday's compatriots by my yellow and blue ensign, I set sail for Yevpatoria, intending to take there a departure to Odessa. There were 2 of us on board, my son and me. Zhenya, on board of his Smaragd, escorted us to the Cape of Tarhankut. It was a sad sailing. My wife didn't follow us. Leaving her alone in the occupied Crimea wasn't to my liking. After some pondering, I thought it wasn't worthily running away from my home as if it were not the Moscovian invaders, the criminals, but we. So, after a night in one's hospitable and now empty and unfriendly port of Eupatoria, we sailed back home, cherishing a hope that one wonderful sunny day we'll hoist after all our sails and fly to the elusive line of horizon.